Today I'm going to show you how to do 2 eye looks using one of my favorite palettes at the moment. It is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 3. The first look I'm going to show you how to do is this easy everyday eye makeup look. And then I'm going to show you how to add to that look to make it more of an intense look, whether you're going out or just kind of want a smokier look in general. This Patrick Ta palette has really become one of my favorite everyday palettes because of just all the matte neutral shades in here. The palette is separated by warm tones on top and cool tones on the bottom, and I tend to use more of the cool tones, but you could still do this look with the warm tone shades if you want to. This video is going to be very beginner friendly. I'm going to go through every single step with you. So let's zoom in and get started. Let's get started on the easy everyday eye look. I am going to start by priming my eyes with the Rare Beauty eyeshadow primer. And then I'm just going to blend out that primer with an angled concealer brush. I like this eye primer because it has a little bit of a tint to it, so it does color up any discoloration on my eyelids. I think I've gone through 3 of these eyeshadow primers. It really is my favorite one. Now to set my primer and to make all the other eyeshadow go on super smooth, I'm going to take the 2 lightest shades from the palette on a fluffy crease brush, and I'm just going to lightly dust that along my upper crease area to help set the primer. Now for a soft everyday look, I just want a little bit of definition in my crease, so I'm going to take this shade from the palette. It is my absolute favorite. I'm definitely going to hit pan on it at some point. So I have the shadow along the tip of my fluffy crease brush like that, and I'm going to start by dusting that shade back and forth throughout my entire crease. Now I picked up a little bit more of that shadow, and I'm just going to build up the shade on the outer part of my crease. And then I picked up more shadow, and I'm going to lightly tap that on the outer half of my eyelid, and I'm connecting that right out here in the outer crease. This is just going to give my eye a little bit of dimension, and it's going to be really easy to build off this look later on. Now I'm going to take just a little bit of the white, and again I'm using the same brush for this, and I'm just going to stamp a little bit of that shadow on this inner blank part of my lid just to kind of brighten it up a little bit. Now I'm currently doing my under eye concealer, and I'm using the concealer to help clean up this edge of the shadow right there. And I'm following the angle of my lower lash line outwards. Now I'm just setting my under eyes with a translucent powder. Now for the lower lash line, I'm switching to a smaller crease brush with more of that transition shade. And I just have a little bit of that shadow on the tip of the brush, and I'm going to run that across my entire lower lash line. And again, this is just adding a little bit of definition to the lower lash line. And you want to make sure to connect your shadow on this little outer corner so the lower line is connecting with that upper crease area. Now I'm just going to highlight my inner corner and brow bone, and you can take any highlighter shade you like for that. I'm going to take Bright from my eyeshadow palette with Sigma, and I'm just taking a pencil brush and I'm stamping that in my inner corner, and then whatever's left over on my brush right below my brow. Now for the everyday look, I'm just going to add some mascara to my top lashes, but not my bottom lashes. So I applied my mascara and I used my favorite Tower 28, but I desperately need a new tube of this. I just ordered a new one, so this one's kind of dry, so my lashes don't look as amazing as they normally do with this mascara. But now I'm going to take a lash comb and I'm going to wiggle that in between my lashes to kind of help separate them and comb out any clumps of mascara. I've had a couple people ask me about this lash comb, so I will link it down below as well as everything else I'm using today. And then if I made a little bit of a mess with my mascara, I will just take a reusable Q-tip and I'll use that to clean up those marks. And I do this when the mascara is completely dry. All right, I'm not having the most perfect and natural lash day, but that's okay. And just to show you a little before and after, this eye has nothing on it, and this is the one I just did. Part of me kind of wants to soften this line right here. It's just feeling a little bit harsh, so I'm just going to take a clean crease brush and I'm just going to kind of tap along this harsh line right here. And this is just going to very softly blend that out. I even picked up a little bit of the white shadow And I'm just kind of using that to soften this little edge. I went ahead and finished up the rest of my makeup, and here is what the full face looks like. Just kind of wanted to show you everything before we go back in and kind of deepen up the eyes. Now let's zoom back in, and I'm going to show you how to take this everyday look into more of a night look. So now when I deepen up my eye looks and I like to make them look a little bit more intense, a little bit more smoky, I like to add my depth to the outer part of the eye and the lash line. So I'm going to go back to that small crease brush and take the next deepest shade in the cool toned row. And I kind of have that shade more on the flat side of the brush. And I'm just going to stamp that along the outer part of my eye. And then once I pat down all that shadow, I'm going to kind of blend right here in my outer crease, just so it looks nice and smooth with that deeper shade. And then I'm going to take more of that deeper shade on the tip of my crease brush and run that along the outer part of my lower lash line. Now I'm going to switch to an even smaller brush. This is the pencil brush, and I'm going to take the darkest brown shade, and I picked up that shade kind of on the side of the pencil brush, so more than just the tip. And again, I'm going to stamp that along this very, very outer part of my eye. Kind of like to call this the outer V area. And you want to keep this shade low. You don't want to bring it up too high into your crease because you will blend it out. And with this brush, I'll kind of bring it along my outer lash line as well. And then anything left over on my brush, I'll bring along the outer part of my lower lash line, and I'm trying to stay really close to the base of my lashes. Then I'm going to go back to my small crease brush with no additional product on it and start to blend around that deepest brown. And if you need help blending out any edges, always go back to the previous shade you were using. So I have that more medium brown on my brush, and I'm going to go around the edges of that deepest brown. Now I'm going to take a small angled brush with the black shadow, and I'm going to stamp that along my outer top lash line. And if you want, you can flick out this lash line shadow and make it into a little wing. Something kind of like that. Now I went ahead and added just a little bit of mascara on the outer part of my bottom lashes. And now to really intensify this look, you guys know me, of course, I'm going to add a half lash. For that lash, I'm going to use the Bright Lashes Half Lash in Whisper. You can see I have a bunch in here. I love this lash. And what's nice about this lash is that this is a shorter lash compared to most lash styles. So it's not going to overpower your eyes. So I think it's best for people with small eyes, hooded eyes, or even glasses wearers because it's not going to touch your glasses. Bright Lashes is my lash brand, and if you want to check out any of my lashes, you can use the code YouTube to save some money off of your first purchase. So I like to apply my lashes with my fingers, and I'm going to look down into a mirror and press that on the outer part of my lash line. And you can just see how easy that is to apply. There's no inner corner to fuss with, just make sure it's laying nicely on your lash line. After I applied the lash, I did apply just a little bit more of that black shadow along the lash band to help hide it with my eyeliner. And that is what I would do to intensify this everyday look and to make it more of like a nighttime, kind of going out, a bit more dramatic eye look. Now, of course, there are so many other ways you can make this look even more dramatic. You could add a black liner to your waterline, you could smoke out the lower lash line even further. You could also add black shadow into the outer crease and the lower lash line. Like, you could definitely make this even more smoky, but this is where I'm gonna stop today. So again, here's where I started with the everyday eye look and turned it into this look. All right, I went ahead and did my other eye, and now my makeup is done. All right, so that is going to wrap up this video. I'm gonna link every single product I used today down below if you want to check out anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.